Wednesday, number 509. We're calling for justice for all victims of police violence. Mic check, mic check,
Mic check.
Mic check.
mic check.
Awesome. So thank you guys for joining us tonight. We have a special guest, Mr. Foster mother, my sister, Missy Lane. She's the foster mom of our beloved brother Jesse that was murdered. And I'm going to give you guys, and normally we played a video of the officers that started murdering my brother, the officer Ruiz. Tonight we're going to do it a little bit different. We're going to actually bring you on with the video of her son being murdered. So if you're don't want to see it, this is your time to step away from the phone. This will be a great time to step away. The video is maybe like 4 minutes, 4 to 5 minutes long. So this will be the perfect time to step away from the video if it's too much. If it's going to trigger anything, just please step away. And I'm sorry I got this mask on, but I have a guest in my vehicle right now, and I work with children. So, mic check.
Mic check.
Hi, Javi.
I told you to stop kicking stuff, stop throwing stuff, right? Okay, so now you gotta put your hands behind your back, okay? You gotta put your hands behind your back. Huh? Okay. You're under arrest for disorderly conduct, okay? Put it down. You just stop pushing me, boy. Hey, listen to me. Keep your hands off of me. What the hell are you doing? What's the matter? I'm gonna talk. What the stupid ass stuff? Stop resisting, dude. Just go down. Stop me doing anything wrong. Bullshit, you're not. Oh my God. Oh my God. Holy shit, you just shot him! I'm so tired. Dude!
Mic check.
Mic check. I just need to take 1 minute because that was just so traumatizing for me, even though I saw the video before, but it's just so sad. And my heart really goes out to Jesse's family. And it's just sad, and like I don't even know what to say, because you get to the point you get tired of talking, and these animals do the same thing over and over again. And it's just ironic that in some instance when they pull you over, they're talking like just to go down, dude, but yet they're doing stuff hurting you and expecting you to go down without like flinching or screaming. And it's just for the cameras. It's horrible. So I just want to take a deep breath, and then I want to bring on our beautiful queen, Missy Lane. Mic check. She's the foster mom of Jesse. Mic check. Hi, queen.
Hi, thank you. Yeah, and that's just a short version of the video. So the other one, you actually see both of the parties, and so that's been edited out. So, but you can tell it was like not even 37 seconds between contact. And
Not
so,
at all. Mm. I'm so sorry, Queen. I'm so sorry. So, can you tell our viewers that might be just saying this for the first time, don't know who you are, don't know Jesse's story? Can you just give us like a brief update if that's okay? And again, I apologize, and I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry.
no, thank you, thank you. Yeah, On May 31st, 2019, my foster son Jesse was having a mental health crisis. And we have seen this across the nation of how a situation that is a 911 call for help turns into the loss of a loved one.
Mm.
And the first encounter with the officer, Jeff Nelson, actually was 20 minutes earlier. They had come up on Jesse across the street, and he was at a different location. And he was, he was pretty upset. He was, from what we could gather, just very agitated. And you learn from just some of the reports that Officer Nelson approached him and said that there's been some complaints about his, they called it disorderly conduct, and not like, hey, is everything okay? Is there anything we can do? And there was nothing in any of those reports that said that they were responding to a 911 mental health crisis. He had a second police officer that was there, and his dog, and you could hear his dog barking in the car. He let him go. He said, okay, well, we're going to let you go. Don't let us be called again. And that's the piece that we don't understand. What happened from that first encounter to 20 minutes later that then led to the death of my foster son. And so Jesse had then crossed the street and went over to this grocery store, and he just sat down next to the ice machine, and he de-escalated himself. He had already calmed down. He realized that he had a, situation, but at that point, he thought it was a done deal. And then you see the police car pulls up, and this cop now is alone. He's no longer has his backup. He leaves his dog in the car, and he turns off his camera. And so you don't see anything from the police officer's camera. It's from videos that took months to be able to put together what you saw. And you hear the witnesses in the background. He's like, dude, what, just don't resist. But by that time, Jesse's like, why are you, I can only imagine. What are you doing here? Why are you bothering me? You let me go. And from what we can gather, other footage that is going to be shown later is a police officer reaching down and actually pulling him up to arrest him. And so he was close. I mean, you're talking physically touching and that close to Jesse. And then something happened. There was a scuffle. Officer steps back and shoots him point blank in the stomach. I know. And he goes down. So he's down. You can, from the reports, Jesse's laying down, looking and holding on to his wound. And the police officer goes to re-engage his gun, and it got stuck. So he had to clear the chamber. So again, the police officer could have stopped right then and there and say, he's down, let's call 911 and let's get some emergency. Instead, he went and shot him point blank in the head.
Oh my God.
So
that's a great execution.
That was all within like 37 seconds. And he had an opportunity. This police officer had the opportunity to stop, and he did not stop. And so we were very lucky that there was that eyewitness. He is one of our, chief or whatever you call it, witnesses for this case. And, it's been a long journey because we're talking May 31st, 2019. We're coming up on his 4th anniversary right now.
That is sad. I mean, and the way you describe it, it's nothing less or shorter than an execution. And that's what they do. Like, it was no reason to execute your son. Like, it was no reason.
No.
There was no reason when my brother Tyrone West was brutally executed. There was no reason for none of that. It's no reason that our loved ones are being executed. Like, it's no reason. And the saddest part is that badge places them above the law and they feel like they can do whatever they want to do. So my next question, my queen, would be what happened to the officers? Are they still working? Like, what's going on with your son's case?
Yeah. So he was killed right before George Floyd, and so we were entering into the world of COVID. So life,
Mm-hmm.
how we knew it, was about to really shift and change. Um,
Mm-hmm.
we were approached, I want to say, in December of 2020. The prosecutor office had asked to see our family, and we couldn't understand what this was about. I mean, most of the families are waiting for an independent investigation. You know,
Mm-hmm.
to have a prosecution asked to sit down with us meant something. And so we sat down with them, and they said, we have been following this case, and we want to let you know that we are going to be investigating it in the hopes that we could bring charges against this police officer.
Mm-hmm.
And they didn't tell us a time frame. They just said, we are going to begin to do this investigation. And that
Mm-hmm.
gave us a semblance of some hope, like, wow, somebody's out there taking a look.
Mm-hmm.
So around August of 2021 to 23, I get my dates wrong. I have been, but whatever.
Mm-hmm.
August of that year. So I might have had it wrong. I might have been December of 2019 we met with them, and August of 2020 they called us back in. And in the meantime, there's been a lot of discussions with them, updates, and they brought us in and they said that they have decided that they will charge this police officer.
Oh my
And they found
God.
a technicality where
Yeah.
any other police officer in the same situation, would they have felt that they were threatened for their life, and would they have then shot to kill? And they decided no, there was no reasonable,
No.
you know,
No.
reason. And so they said that they were going to charge him with second-degree murder and
No.
first-degree assault under this
No.
bill called I-940. And it was a brand
Mm.
new bill, never been used. So in a sense,
Wow.
we are what you call the practice. We're kind of the practice of a new law. And
Nice.
it is the first murder trial in 30 years in the state of Washington of a police officer.
Yes.
Yeah,
Wow.
I mean, it was big. It was a big deal, and so we went into the arraignment on that Monday, and he
Mhm.
comes in and he's handcuffed and wearing a mask, and
Wow.
it's the first time we lay eyes on this person, and
Mm.
there was no bail set. And so I spoke to the courts and I said, how can you not have bail? If this was a regular homicide of a civilian on second-degree murder and first-degree assault, he would either be held in jail with no bail or at least a $1.5 million to $2 million bail.
Yes, absolutely.
And the judge ruled $500,000.
What?
And he was arrested at 10. By 5 p.m., he was out on bail, but he was
Hey,
on house arrest. So coming up in
that's just,
September, 3 years on pay administrative house arrest.
That's disturbing. That is horrible because we know that if the role was reversed and it would have been Jesse that literally did the things that was done to him to this officer, he wouldn't even have got a bail. Let's be crystal clear. There wouldn't have been no bail or anything. Wouldn't have been no home arrest. Oh my God, you got to be kidding me!
No. And guess what
Wow.
happened this just before I came on the air? We were supposed to meet May 5th to set a trial date and get ready to do jury selection. And we
Mhm.
just got a letter from the prosecution office saying now it's been continued to June 5th, June 17th.
Are
So
you kidding me?
just keep getting continuance.
Oh my gosh.
We don't even know if this police officer is ever going to serve time inside a prison by
Oh,
the
that's
time we go to
terrible.
trial.
That's disgusting. That's really disgusting. That is horrible.
Yeah, and I think it's by design. You
Oh,
know,
absolutely, absolutely, absolutely.
everyone's going to forget about the case. Everything's just going to, people go on with their life.
Hmm.
And the really worst tragedy in this situation is I've been fighting this with his family, with his bio.
Right.
They have been
Hmm.
by my side. And
Hmm.
on June 17th,
Hmm.
no, yeah, June 17th, 2021, his bio mother, Carrie, had died. And so
Oh
we had
man.
lost him. And
Hmm.
then on August 5th of 2022, I lost his younger brother, Terrell, who I
Oh my
raised.
gosh.
Terrell lived with me for 10 years and aged out of my.
Um,
So the family is dying before they even see a semblance of justice. And so it's
uh,
kind of lonely. I feel like sometimes I feel like
mhm.
when the minute I show up, the minute we go to court, I'm gonna almost feel like the whole family's been wiped out, you know?
Oh my God, that is so terrible. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry.
Thank
But
you.
but again, it's like you said, by design, because we're even going through something with, like you see, we've been fighting going on 10 years for my brother. We ain't even get no type of nothing. Like I'm literally working actively, the West Coalition, my family, we're all currently working to get my brother case reopened, which it shouldn't have never been closed by now. Them killer cops should have been rotting in a cell block. But it's designed to let your family die off. Like my grandmother done passed away. My uncle that was out there on the front line fighting nonstop, wanting to see his nephew get accountability. He's no longer here. And even one of my cousins that was on the front line got murdered on a West Wednesday morning, and they're delaying the process of his trial. They're keeping my family quiet about what happened to him. And I can't even say nothing what happened to him. And it's just sad and sick. It's disgusting. It's by design. It's horrible. But I'm praying for you. I'm praying for
And
you,
I
my friend.
continue to watch you. I mean, the way that you keep pursuing it. I mean, I've been traveling across the nation, meeting with impacted families, going to a lot of the different rallies and angelversaries. And we are very fortunate, like I said, in a sense that we are going to at least have some semblance of justice. But for every Jesse Saray or State versus Nelson, there are families like yourself that do not even have that
Don't.
opportunity. And so I have
Right.
to always remind myself where we are in this fight and that there isn't it's not equal across the nation.
It's
And
not.
I'm appalled by it. It's like Kim Potter just got released on what, Monday? She served less time than this police officer who is on paid administrative house arrest, you know?
Yes, and it's sickening. And then the fact when I read on Dante's mom page this morning, it made me cry. They had the nerve to say they let her go a little earlier because she was getting threats. Like, are you kidding me? You murdered somebody, you bloody stinking murderer. You take somebody baby away and they whine about. I'm so over the system. Like I'm beyond over it. Like beyond over it. It's disgusting. It needs to be knocked down completely,
Yeah.
blew up. to pieces and rebuilt again. That's how I feel it, because I feel like anything in between is just a way they play mind games with us to calm us. They always want to calm the people. And again, I'm glad that you and your family even got to go to this far, because with other families, and it's just sad, it's just the reality of this racist system that you can fight it. They can know all the facts. Like, and we had repeat violent offenders in my brother case. That's why I don't care how long it takes. I'm going to be there on the front line, in their face,
Yep.
on their butts, teaching school, being a mother, doing all the things that I do to take care of my family. I'm never going to miss a West Wednesday, and I'm never going to stop fighting for accountability. That's my promise. I promise my brother kids, my family that's no longer here. I don't care how long, but it should not be delayed like this. Justice delayed is justice denied.
Yep.
And I'm sorry that your family is going through this delayed process foolishness. But I want to check in real quick, because I see the lines are like on fire with all the comments and questions. I want to see if our brother Marcellus is in. And again, I want to thank you, my queen, just for joining us tonight and sharing Jesse's story. Mic check.
Mic check.
Mic check. Tawanda, I don't think Marcellus is with us. I think he's driving home from work.
Mic check.
Mic check. So is any way that Uncle Bill, is it possible that you can read some of the comments or questions, please, and thank you?
I'll do my best to get them all.
Okay, thanks.
Okay, we start with Judah saying mic check. Hillary, mic check. Angela, mic check. Ansel, mic check. Gigi, mic check. Kalia, mic check. Smiley, mic check. Gigi says, welcome and thank you, Elaine. Then I said, good evening, everyone who's watching tonight's West Wednesday live stream. How awful it is to see instance after instance of police murder. Gigi sent hearts. Gigi says the police should not be attending to people navigating a mental health crisis. They need to lose funding so we can train and employ workers who are not cops to support people navigating a crisis. Thank you. Judah says it's unreal that these cops don't think for a second that simply interacting with a cop, especially if you're a kid, is terrifying and traumatizing. Obviously, they're trained not to care about that.
Mm-hmm.
Kalia says cops do not prioritize de-escalating situations, especially for mental health crises. Gigi says, killed him in less than 5 minutes. Elaine, if I'm not mistaken, you said 37 seconds, right? And Gigi continues, he had no weapons. They do not use conflict de-escalation. There is no amount of harm reduction for them. The culture remains the same. They need to be defunded. AC Britt says yay. Gigi says accountability secured. AC says, wow, 30 years. Just goes to show that it's an unwritten rule across the country that they generally don't charge killer cops without a family pushing and pushing and pushing. Gigi says, that's right, call them out. Gigi says WTF, and I'm not going to spell that out. AC Britt says 100%. AC says it's most definitely by design. AC says that's why you keep reminding them of the case. Gigi says killer cops getting paid and fed while the poor are made to work in the Neo plantation. AC says that's sad about the family. Hillary says yes, the system treats officers so differently than the rest of us. So sad for all of these families, so much loss. So sorry. Gigi says, this is why we must dismantle capitalism. These killer cops are agents for capitalism. They will rarely receive the consequences they deserve because they are employed to support the capitalist agenda. AC says, sending Elaine love. Gigi says, protect property, maintain the status quo, and suppress the working class. I responded, right, Gigi, to end police brutality and end racism in general, we have to smash capitalism for sure. Gigi says, where's the support for Elaine in Washington? Praise be for Tawanda using her platform to uplift this work. We need an intersectional movement, y'all. No one can do it alone. AC says, hugs to Tawanda. Excuse me. Gigi says, that's right, Tawanda. We will no longer accept reform. You cannot reform sin. Judah says, Elaine, how can we support you? And there's only one more comment, so then you can respond to that. Gigi says, capitalism is demonic. It is full of hatred and evil. It needs to be dismantled and replaced with collective liberation and prosperity. Mic check.
Mic check.
Wow. Thank you.
Yeah, so how can we support you, my queen? Like, what can we do to support you? How can, because I know you always send me updates on trials and information like that, and I will be starting to share it, guys. Like, I get so much stuff. I definitely be start sharing. But how can we do? Jesse have a page. How can they connect to it? How can we support you, my queen?
I really appreciate that. This fight is not only for Jesse Saray, but Officer Jeff Nelson also has 2 other kills before him. He killed Brian Scammon and Isaiah Obit. So this police officer, in less than 8 years on the force, is responsible for 3 murders in Auburn. And to me, that is my biggest concern, is that we are keeping him from another kill. But if this police officer is not decertified and not convicted, he's going to go right back to his same old pattern. And, you know, my heart goes also out for the families that have been impacted. And then it's been discovered that he has over 75 assault charges, that nothing's ever been addressed. So this is a rogue police officer
That's what they always are.
In a police department that has not taken any form of accountability at all for what has happened. And that is what is, definitely a serial killer.
Serial killer.
And I, you know, if he is indeed a serial killer, I don't know what's going to happen, but this guy is probably going to go crazy, because it's time for him to do another kill.
Yes, it is. It's sad. It's disgusting.
It is. And, you know, I appreciate the opportunity to come, like on West Wednesday, that you are sharing your platform with other impacted families to get the word out there that this is not just an isolated. There are multiple police officers that have multiple bodies on their. I mean, it's amazing how many families I have been meeting that the cop that killed their loved one is also responsible for other murders on their time, you know?
Yeah. And it's just sad. And then the saddest part is, a lot of victims, they don't die. Like, they have to live through the trauma of being brutalized, and then they have to live with, you know, feeling bad that they survived when they hear about, like, in the instant with all the victims that survived through Ruiz and Chapman's. You know, they had to hear about my brother Tyrone West, and then they feel bad. They like, well, I survived. Like, no, like, they need to be held accountable, not just for the murders, but for abusing and attacking and traumatizing anybody. All the victims matter. It don't just matter. And a lot of times, because our loved ones get murdered, and we always put them at the forefront, which they should be, because our loved ones won't have another day or another spot at our table. But at the same time, all the victims need to be at that damn table. Everybody, even the ones that survive, and even more so, because they can actually tell what these maniacs did. You know, I wish my brother would have survived. You know, but unfortunately, no man or woman, no child, no one could have survived. You got 17 maniacs. I'm talking about pepper spray, hitting him with batons, beating him down to the ground. And then you let a 420-pound man set on his neck, sat on my brother's neck until he died, gasping for a fish, screaming another victim's name, Trayvon Martin, help. Like, that is beyond disgusting. And I'm going to ride their necks, and I'm going to be on their backs until somebody be held accountable. But we should not have to fight this hard. That's why I dislike the system. You should not be going through it. And my sister Angela, I hear her in Q, and it's sad because she lost her brother through a mental health crisis. Like, are you kidding? Bad enough when we all get to a mental health crisis where you go through something. You might have had a horrible day. Just imagine you feel like, oh my God, everything's not working. You just in that mental space, but you're not hurting or harming nobody. You're just in a mental space, and then you get killed by people that's supposed to serve and protect. And it's just sad. So, Angela, I want to bring you on, my queen. Mic check. If I didn't mean to put you on this out there. But if you want to say anything, this is your opportunity. Mic check.
Mic check.
Hey, Tawanda and Angela, do you mind if I say something real quick before you do that?
Absolutely.
Okay. So, Elaine, I just found the Facebook page that you set up, and I saw that you shared this broadcast. Is it all right if I share that webpage with the group so that they can follow as well?
Yes, absolutely.
All right, everyone, if you follow this QR code, you will be able to
Right
connect
here.
with their Facebook account and be able to see all of the updates for this case. Thank you. Mic check.
Yeah,
Thank
and
you, Mic
I consistently add updates. I invite people to join our fight. It is not over, and mental health needs to be treated differently than this, because I have family and friends that are afraid to call the police when they're in a crisis because they don't know if they'll come out of it alive, and that is the part that's the hardest. And I just want to thank you guys. I mean, every time I come on and I share updates and that see the love throughout the communities that are looking at it. And, Jesse, his family is Cambodian, and his mom survived Khmer Rouge to come to America. She came here for a better life. And what happens is exactly this. It was no different than what they left. That that system continues to wipe out people. So thank you.
And
You're
just
welcome.
in case anybody hasn't heard of that, the Khmer Rouge is the name of a brutal massacre that happened between 1975 and 1979 in Cambodia. A lot of people tried to escape Cambodia, and many of them came to the States to escape this brutal violence against them. And so, for him to be subject to violence here in the States after his family tried to escape violence is just awful.
Yeah, and how the AAPI community, they're very quiet, and that I do not ever dismiss the fact of where I am in this movement and who I am in this movement, because of if it is my white privilege that has allowed it to get this far for a young man of color, then I would still do it over and over again, because otherwise he would have just been I think that's what
he would have. I'm gonna be honest. He would have. Absolutely.
Yeah, that cop, I can't believe he is pissed off at me.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Where did this lady come from?
Yes, and I love you for that. Look at God, won't He do it? So yeah, I wanted to bring my sister on, Angela, to see if she want to say anything to you. Angela, mic check.
Mic check. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Mic check. I just wanted to say my condolences to you, Elaine, for Jesse. My brother, like Tawana said, my brother Timothy was murdered May 16th, 2021 by 2 Baltimore City police officers on a mental health crisis. I think I heard Nicole in the background as well. Her father-in-law Anthony Anderson was murdered. So was her daughter, murdered by Baltimore City police officers. The system is just corrupt. Like my sister said, it just need to be torn down and rebuilt all the way back up from start to finish, from scratch. We're just going to have to keep fighting and fighting and fighting for accountability for our loved ones, because they aren't here anymore and they can't fight for themselves. So we're just going to have to do it for them. It's just hard, because I feel like I'm the only one as well that's out here fighting. I keep having these bad dreams and stuff, but I'll talk to you about that later, Tawanda, about my sister. But anyway, back to police brutality. It's just horrible. I don't want to ramble on, but we're just going to keep fighting for accountability. Cell blocks for killer cops. Mic check.
Mic check. And thank you for sharing that. And quickly, I want to. You said Nicole was in queue. I want to bring her on to see if she want to say anything. And then thank you, my queen, for that. We definitely got to talk. And I'm sending both of you, Miss Elaine. I'm sending you, my sister. I'm sending all you guys love, virtual hugs. Mic check.
And I'm sitting right to you.
Thank
Mic check.
you.
Mic check.
Nicole, do you want to
Nicole.
say something before we start going to the set list and whatnot? Mic check.
So I will say that Nicole has had some difficulty. She's joined and left about 8 or 9 different times, so
Oh
it's
wow.
possible that she might not be having the greatest connection. But she did say in our private chat that as your stepson's story was read, that it was sickness and sad, and that she extended her heart to you.
Yes. And we extend our heart to Nicole as well. And thank you, Sister Angela, for pretty much, explaining who Nicole was, who Nicole is. I'm sorry. I'm just so caught up and choked up. So, my queen, yeah, I just want to tell you guys, like, so before, like, I don't want to, like, end in sadness and on a sad note. So I just want to ask, you and Angela share, like, could you just share one special, which we know all the moments with our loved ones are always special, but could you share that one special time with us that, like, just made your heart sing? I'm gonna start with you, Miss Elaine. Mic check.
Mic check.
Yeah, I always love to share the story. When Terrell, Jesse's younger brother, and Jesse both lived with me. So at one point, I had both the brothers.
Mhm.
They wanted to go to a wrestling match, and I don't know, it was WW something. And I was like, oh my God, I'm like, I've never done anything like that. So we went to this wrestling match, and they got their little belts and their masks, and they're both really kind of tough little Cambodian boys. We get home, and they go back to their bedroom, and I go chilling, and all of a sudden I hear this crash. So I come running down, and they're both sitting on the floor. The bed had collapsed. They were practicing some of the wrestling match that they learned, and they're like, nothing happened. Everything's all right, Elaine. And they're on the floor with a broken bed. So and Jesse always had this funny giggle. He loved to break dance. He loved Naruto. He was always how his mother and them would say it, he was the goofball. He would come into a room no matter what. I mean, he had bouts of homelessness. He had a lot of struggles in his young life, but he always would come into the party or into the family event, and you wouldn't know that at the end of the night, he would go back out to being homeless, and
Amen.
in our society, that's called system resistance. By that
Amen.
time, the system has failed them. The school to prison pipeline, the
Mhm.
foster care system, the mental health system. Jesse had already been forgotten from the beginning,
Mhm.
but always made sure everybody else was okay. So he had a lot of love in him. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you for sharing that. And Sister Angela, what is one of your fondest moments with your brother Timothy?
I just always enjoyed the fact that my brother loved his kids. He loved his family. He loved his siblings. He loved his parents. He just loved life. He loved everything and everybody. He just enjoyed life. Um, you know, he, just seeing him with his children was everything because he did not let his sons go outside without him. If his sons want to go ride the bicycles, he'll take them outside. Want to go to the park, he'll go to the park with them. You know, before he was murdered, he was actually in a process of getting custody of his daughter as well. So,
Mm.
it's just heartbreaking, but that's what gave him joy. His family, his kids, his children. That was his.
Nice.
That's what he lived for. That's what he lived for, and that's what made me happy and smile. See him happy and smile because his kids made him happy and smile.
Awesome. And one of my fond memories was like every memory with my brother, but I'm be quick. Like my brother, he was an artist. He loved drawing.
Mm.
He could draw anything. And when we were growing up, he had an art club that he'd always invite us to. And he like make us all say our names. He would like say your name and why you want to join the art club. So this one day I felt like I was gonna be in it, but I was the only girl. Like I was the only like older girl that was coming up trying to be with them and up under their wing, and they wasn't trying to hit because I was the only girl. They was like, So
Mhm.
this day, I just knew he was like, say your name. And I'm like, Tawan. He was like, what's your last name? So he never asked me my last name before. So I'm thinking, oh my God, I'm really in. Like, he's asking me my last name. So I'm like, Tawanda Jones. And he was like, you're kicked out. And I was like, what? Like, I was so crushed. They was laughing at me. I was so crushed, but even though, but it was just like, and I'm like, why am I kicked out? Why? He was like, because he was like, look around. Do you see any other girls in the family in our club? It's only boys. But I'm still, but he always, even though I couldn't be there with the boys at the table with them like I wanted to be, but he always taught me how to draw things like that. And it's like he's the reason why I like drawing little things in my classroom. Nothing, nowhere in comparison to him, but that's just like
Mhm.
one of my fondest memories with him because we laughed so hard at that. Because I just knew, like, I had that feeling of, oh, I'm up in here, yes. And then it's like, no, you're not. You're a girl. You're not in here. So I was like, oh my goodness. And it was just all for protecting. He was like the glue our family, the first grandbaby, like just everything. So just all of that. He loved being with his children. Taking care of his grandmother, that was his baby. Our grandmother, may she rest in heaven, and he just took care of all of us. His sister, like he ran all my boyfriends away at the time. Anybody wanted to even say anything to me, they couldn't talk to me. They're like, "Oh, your brother Tyrone." So I'm like, man, but I wouldn't trade a man for the world. So, but yeah, but I just want to thank y'all. And the reason why we started early tonight because, as everybody know, I'm a cheer mom as well as a teacher and all that good stuff. And my baby is doing a performance at exactly 7 o'clock sharp tonight because we're going to be in Florida for them doing their world thing next week. So they're doing a final one where we can invite friends and families out here tonight. So definitely. And I'm still trying to raise funds on my ends because I didn't know cheer was this high. Like literally, I paid all this money to go to Ocean City to watch, but I'll do it all again because you can't put a price on cheer. And it's the moment of seeing my baby be so inspired and the way she move. I'm like, yeah, she get them flips from me, but
Mhm.
I'm in my mind like, oh my God, like where did she get these like moves from? So, but I'm just so happy for. I'm excited. I even got her prom date with me right now in the car. So she's like, bring my date. Like she's all excited. So got to go in there and be with my baby and all that good stuff. But definitely, before we, wrap it up and close out, I wanted to pretty much, unfortunately, we just had fun and laughter, things of that nature. But we would be remiss if we didn't go to the sad list. And even though we don't read the names out, we haven't done that in a while. So, just tonight I wanted to do it and thank you Judah for last week. Like we had went to his Freddie
Yeah.
Gray event. It was amazing. It was so beautiful. And my sister Angela drove all the way up 5 hours to come and join the celebration of life for Freddie Gray and to also have our West Wednesday person, West Wednesday indoors. So I was like, that was just amazing. So shout out, brothers. Shout out. Thank you for inviting us. Thank you for doing what you're doing in the community. And it's just sad because I haven't seen people, and it took me everything not to say something on his page just out of respect for my brother. But he had post about Freddie Gray, and it was one demon. I'll call it a demon. It was one demon that hopped on his page and was like, "Oh, Freddie Gray was a criminal." Da da da. Like, first of all, I don't give a darn what he did or didn't do. Nobody deserves to be brutally murdered. He made eye contact with with maniacs that did not think Freddie Gray life mattered. And this is sad, like even with the governor, Westmore saying something about Freddie Gray, he caught so much of backlash. We need to say something. Everybody needs to be saying something about Freddie Gray,
Mhm.
and not just Freddie Gray, Tyrone West, Timothy Flemings,
Right.
Anthony Anderson, all the victims of police brutality, even the ones that survived, Adina Britt, all the victims, okay?
That's right.
So don't let me go off. So, but anyway, I'd be remiss. So I want to take 1 minute. If you say a prayer, let's say a prayer. If you don't, because everybody's not religious, that's fine. That's, however you want to live your life. Fine, you like it, I love it. So, if you don't pray, if you want to just send positive, energy through the network or however you want to do it, let's just keep in mind that every victim counts. And the only reason why we stop saying, and then this breaking my heart because I'm still thinking about actually leaning on going back reading it, but it made me upset when I learned that the Washington Post only posts victims of police brutality that was gunned down, that was shot, that died from the hands of a trigger being pulled. So the list that we were really originally reading with all, and I mean, it was backed up. Some weeks we might have 50 names on that list. Some we might have 10 or 30. It's just horrible how they kill. But it's important that we need to know how many they're killing. But at the same time, it wouldn't, like Tyrone West wouldn't be on that list. Freddie Gray wouldn't be on that list. Like the list goes on because everybody don't die from, unfortunately, being shot, murdered, or from getting gunned down or whatever. Some people get tased to death, and it's just saying, like my brother Analysis, his nephew was tased to death. He wouldn't be on that list, So it's just saying, but again, let's just take 1 minute. It's 6:50, 6:51. We're gonna come back and we're gonna let you guys know how many names are on the list. And again, I'm probably will go back to read them. I'm still trying to pray on my soul because I don't want to, trigger nobody. But let's take a minute now. Mic check.
Check.
Mic check.
Thank you guys so much. And again, a big special shout out to my dear sister queen, Missy Lane. Thank you so much for all you're doing. And I'm so glad you got your new computer and you're able to join us. I'm like, when I saw that, I'm like, yay. So you will be back. I'm just letting you know, I'm definitely gonna bring you back for a longer time frame, however long you need, but you definitely got it because this board is filling up with so many questions, comments, or thoughts. So definitely we will be having you come back again. Definitely to join us. And I can't wait to see you in person to give you a big hug. I can't wait.
I
So
know it's just
yeah,
meeting families in
yes,
person is just
yes,
so
right.
empowering. And when I
Mm-hmm.
travel, I go to their memorial sites as well with permission.
Nice.
That in itself
Awesome.
too is reaffirming. So thank you so much for
No,
your
thank
grace.
you. And I saw you at that gala. I saw them pictures. I say, look at Missy Lane chewing. Oh, they had your makeup on fleek. Hair was. I said, wait a minute, that Missy Lane. Like, oh my God. Girl, you look like you was 21. I said, okay, Missy Lane, I ain't mad at you. Yes, beautiful. Yes, I was
Oh
loving
my
it.
God, they put on the fake eyelashes
Everything.
and they
I
did the
was like,
hair.
yes,
My friends
everything.
and family who see me just, without all that, they were just like,
Uh-huh.
oh my God, you're glamorous.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
Thank
Yeah, so I'm just glad you were able to join us. Like that was just so amazing. Thank you so much. Like for sharing the pictures and you were able to join the other impacted families. But yeah, so I'm gonna bring on our brother Brian to see how many names were on the sad list for this week. Mic
you.
check.
Mic check.
Mic check. Hi, Tawanda.
Hi.
This week here in Baltimore, we lost 5 people to violence in this city. And so, I always just say that, each of those people is an entire world unto themselves. Each of those people had a mother, they had friends, they may have had children or coworkers or any number of other people whose world has ended right alongside of them. And so, the stuff that this fight, as you folks who've been so eloquent about it. It's so hard. It's so long. And there's so little about it that gives us any feeling of victory. So I just ask people every week when we do this to just take those 5 people and just let the possibilities that they represent be the fuel that keeps you in this. That if those people had lived all the things they could have accomplished, and think of that as the good that you're trying to achieve in this work, because we want to just stop all the killings and all the heartbreak. And so those 5 people, we just lift them up and uphold their loved ones and their families. Thank you.
Thank you. Mic check. And Uncle Bill, we want to check in with you real quick to see how many names and any closing thoughts, and we're gonna get ready to wrap up. Mic check.
Mic check. Tawanda, do you want me to read the rest of the announcements before I say the list, or you don't have time?
You can read the rest of the announcements real quick and then say and then name the amount on the list, and then we could just close out.
All right. Kalia said, capitalism thrives on our trauma and personal divisions. That's why we need an organized effort to support all people affected by police, regardless of race. Ben posted the link for Missy Lane. Linda said, capitalism causes a lot of the mental health problems and then kills people who are suffering already. Judah says, thank you, Ben, for the link. Gigi says, right, Kalia, it is only through organization that we can build power. Gigi says, and I'm sure Western imperialism is the reason why Cambodia was destabilized. This cyclical violence is sickening. Gigi also said, that's right, Elaine, use that white privilege. Kalia says, that's our job. Make the oppressors mad. That means we're doing our job. Gigi says, mic check. Bill says, you're not alone, Angela. Gigi says, you are definitely never alone, Angela, sending you care and strength. I said, as an activist with the Revolutionary Progressive Labor Party, I'd like to invite everyone to the East Coast May Day March this Saturday in New York. We leave Baltimore at 7:30 a.m. Nicole and Dream will be speaking. Judah says, it was an honor, Tawanda, and everyone, and has a heart. Judah says, I came home and saw that heinous comment blocked. And Ben posted the link once again for Elaine. So those are all the comments. And in terms of police killings, unfortunately, there's always a list. This covers killings around the country. And as you pointed out, Tawanda, it doesn't include the ones where police kill people without shooting them. Since last Wednesday, from April the 17th to April the 24th, so 1 week, the police stole another 17 lives, starting with a killing in Plano, Kentucky, and on the 24th, ending with a killing in Weldon Springs, Missouri. It's always hard to talk about this, but we have to face reality as it is, and we have to change it. Mic check.
Mic check. So again, I want to thank everybody. We're going to close out with no video this time. I'm just going to close out sending love. Just remember, live to love, love to live. I love you guys all. We will see you next West Wednesday. Mic check.
Mic check.
Mic check.